Yes, ladies and gentlemen, it seems that Nintendo may have a date next year for their next console, the Switch 2, or whatever they're going to call it. Plus, we have confirmation of the Xbox games that are coming to PlayStation 5 and the Nintendo Switch that I've just talked about. There's layoffs at a big major developer. Plus, it looks like Activision Blizzard and the Call of Duty games will be coming to Xbox Game Pass day and date. I know a number of people were skeptical about that actually happening. All this and much more in today's Monday Game Chat. Roll the title.
It's the Monday Game Chat with your host, Clive Illenden.
Yokoso, yokoso, yokoso. Arigato gozaimasu. Welcome to the Monday Game Chat with me, your host, Clive Illenden. You are, of course, most welcome indeed for the live show as we talk all the gaming news this week. Get your opinion, get your views, have a discussion. After all, it is, as it says up here, the Monday Game Chat. It's all about game. It's all about chat. So, why not do it? Why not start by letting me know what games you've been playing this week on whatever platform? Have you been indulging in Pac-Man on the GeForce Now platform? I see somebody there, Nightingale, released, of course, on GeForce Now as well. So let me know in the chat what games you've been playing and all of that, and any news stories or questions, gaming related, that you might have. I have some interesting AI news, gaming related AI news that may well blow your mind that I came across today. And we'll be doing more on that, of course. And of course, Mr. Bayron Plays. Championes. Absolutely. Championes. What an incredible result. Dreamland yesterday. If this was a football blog, a football vlog type thing, I'd be off on one. Trust me. What a bunch of heroes. Anyway, glad you mentioned it. It had to be done. It had to be done, Mr. Baron Plays. Had to be done. Joy unbound. I've spent, we'll just quickly sidetrack. I've spent virtually all day, and to be honest, most of yesterday evening, just watching YouTube clips, watching social media, just any snippets I can get, following all the celebrations and all of that. Anyway, there we go. That's the football talk out the way. But yeah, absolutely. Let's see who else is in the house. Of course, Jerome, as ever, hit the Clive in the chat. Welcome. He's been playing Resident Evil 4 on the Wii, ladies and gentlemen. There you go. Resident Evil 4 on the Wii. Better than I thought. Do you use the Wii controllers in any different way, or do you use conventional controller for the game on the Wii? Anyway, yes, and as Jerome says, please hit the likes, because I like it. I do. I like it, and YouTube likes it, and it helps people like you find content like this, of course. Jonas is asking about Diablo 4. Well, Jonas, I just had a quick look here on the Xbox site for Diablo 4, and yes, we know it's coming to Game Pass, but still, look, it's still only listed as console and PC at the moment. We will see, since we know that, Ubisoft have the cloud gaming rights. As I said, maybe there's just a bit of lag between it being confirmed that it's coming to cloud. If it doesn't come to Xbox Game Pass, I'll be not pleasantly surprised. I'll be unpleasantly surprised, put it that way, if it doesn't. But hopefully that asks your question. That's all we know. There's no update. I've not had any update on that today. Right. Cloudbusters says Nightingale is awesome. I must admit, when I was putting the GeForce Now news together, I wasn't particularly aware of the title that much, but it does look intriguing. Although I get terribly confused when you're sort of swapping between characters. No, I imagine that the ghostly figure, is that the one I'm thinking of? Can do stuff that the other one can't. And I always find those a bit confusing in that kind of platformy way. Hello, Al Davis is in the chat. Hello, thank you. I finished The Last of Us Part 1 again, but this time on PC. Excellent. I still haven't... I should really get it for PC. Yeah, Jerome has confirmed he's using the Wii Remote and the Nunchuck. Yeah, I was curious. Yeah, that's interesting. Mr. Bayron Plays loves Resi 4 on the Wii. Was my preferred way to play it. Gandora says it's confirmed Diablo 4 is coming to... Oh, yeah, we know it's coming to Game Pass. The big question, of course, is whether it would come to cloud. Now, as a default position, Xbox want all their games to be available on PC, console, and cloud. But given it's an Activision Blizzard title and Ubisoft have the Activision Blizzard cloud gaming rights, that's all got to be sorted. So there's going to be a lag between that getting all sorted. You'd think they would have sorted it by default so that, they had a kind of written agreement that by default all these games automatically come. I don't know. I usually don't get very far in the Resident Evil games. What is that? It's because you get scared or because it becomes too difficult? Let us know. Right. So last week we talked a lot about, the games. So Xbox had announced that they would be releasing some of their games, first party games, on multiple consoles, on PlayStation 5 and on the Switch. But they didn't at the time mention which games they were, although, look, it was the worst kept secret. Everybody knew. I said it on the show last week. The popular belief was that it would be Hi-Fi Rush, Pentiment, Sea of Thieves, and Grounded. And sure enough, we got drip-fed various things here. So Hi-Fi Rush is launching on PlayStation 5 in March. This confirmation comes hours after Nintendo revealed some previously Xbox exclusive games were coming to Switch in the Nintendo reveal. Here's the full list of the Xbox exclusive games coming to PlayStation 5 or Nintendo Switch. So Pentiment, which I have more on that as well, is already released now. PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, and Nintendo Switch already released. Hi-Fi Rush on PlayStation 5 on March the 19th. Grounded on PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, and Nintendo Switch. It's interesting that these games are coming to PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5. Obviously, it makes a massive difference if you can bring your game to PlayStation 4 because it's still a massive user base. I told you about my son's mate, where his parents said, do you want us to get an Xbox Series S for Christmas? And he said, no, I'll have a PlayStation 4. And I said to my son, what do you mean? What? So I got it, they couldn't obviously stretch to, 500 quid a PlayStation 5, but surely you'd go for current gen, which includes Xbox Series S. But his mate said, no, I want the PlayStation 4 because all his mates are on PlayStation and stuff like that, and some games on PlayStation 4 that he likes playing. And weird. Anyway, the point is, there's still loads and loads of people, who play their games on PlayStation 4. It's still a super popular and used console. So it makes a hell of a lot of sense if you can bring your game to both PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5. It's not like, the user base on the Xbox 1, although, maybe, but not on the same scale, I would argue. I don't have the evidence, but you're given the number of PS4s sold. Yeah, there are a lot of inherited PS4s, put it that way. Little Johnny and little Jenny's got PS4s handed down to them as, older brother or dad or whoever it is, or mum bought themselves a PS5. Anyway, yeah, so Sea of Thieves on PlayStation 5. Now, this makes a bit more sense because it's a graphically beautiful game, Sea of Thieves. IMO, the sea on it looks amazing. So I would probably want something like Sea of Thieves. I'd probably want it optimized. And you're playing against, Xbox. Yeah, it was on Xbox One, I seem to remember, yeah. But yeah, you might as well optimize it on that one. So I guess that's what they've opted to do, rather than try and cram it into a PS4. So yeah, so these were the games that I said would. These are the games that would be coming to the multi consoles. It wasn't really a secret; it was fairly hinted or suggested from various sources that this would be the case, and sure enough, it's been confirmed. And just to make it official, here we go. Xbox themselves, more adventures. This is the Xbox Twitter themselves. More adventures, more fun for more people. The gaming community thrives when more players can play. We're bringing Pentiment, Grounded, Sea of Thieves, and Hi-Fi Rush to more players. And it's all on there. Pentiment, Hi-Fi Rush, Grounded. April the 16th. So there's some gap there. April the 16th. April the 30th is the big one. All those PlayStation newbie sailors, those landlubbers, they've got a shock coming to them when they jump into the world of Sea of Thieves, I can tell you that. But there we go. They're going to be joining, titles like Minecraft, Call of Duty, Overwatch, and Diablo on the multi-platforms. Now, interestingly enough, one of these titles, Pentiment, which is already now available on PlayStation 5, this is not a good look. What I'm about to show here. So look at this. So apparently Microsoft's PlayStation 5 version of Pentiment runs at 120 frames per second, while the Xbox version is locked at 60 frames per second. Now, this is an anomaly. It's a bug. There's a mistake, and there will be a fix. It'll be fixed in the patch to the Xbox version to enable 120 frames per second mode soon, apparently. But, I can imagine in all this kind of phony console war boys world, this is being jumped on by the kind of various fanboys, console fanboys, in a kind of Simpsons bully kind of, You are able to play an Xbox first-party game at a higher frame rate on PlayStation 5 right now, which is a little bit embarrassing. But it turns out it's a bit of a bug. But even so, it's not necessarily a good look. Microsoft's PlayStation 5 version of Pentiment runs better than Xbox version due to a bug, apparently. It launched on PlayStation 5 last week, running at 120 frames per second. So the Xbox version of the game is locked to 60 frames per second. It's only a 2D game, so it doesn't really matter. But leading to a weird situation where a PlayStation 5 version of an Xbox game actually runs better than the Xbox version. Thankfully, it's just a bug. So 120 frames per second mode is coming to Pentiment on the Xbox in the next patch. So I think what it is they were getting it ready and patching it as well and getting it ready for the PlayStation 5 version. And they thought they'd have it all ready for the Xbox version at the same time. And unfortunately, there was a bug that prevented it from launch, being available 120 frames per second just as they were launching this optimized version for PlayStation 5. That's what's happened. So, yeah, that's a little bit embarrassing. Don't you think? We'll come back to that. Let's see what you lot have been saying on that. So those are the games. We'll see how this strategy fares ultimately. I played a bit of Pentiment. It's quite an interesting game, actually. It's got a very, unique style, or art style to it. That kind of parchment, as though it's written by, been hand drawn by monks and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, I'm still playing my PS3. Never got a PS4. You just jump, yeah. A lot of younger people inherit their parents' old TV and monitors. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, hand-me-downs. Did anyone see Phil Spencer confirming games you own coming to xCloud this year? Well, when you say confirmed, he did say in a tweet that would be the case. We reported that on this show last week, Suarez. Whether he's confirmed it even more, I don't know. But he did confirm in a tweet or a response, a message to somebody who asked the question. So, yeah. I think a long time ago, a lot of kids inherited TVs. Nowadays, kids have $2,000 phones. Yeah, crazy. Yeah, I spend more on my daughter's phone, even as at university, and I think on mine, to be honest. And I like to have a nice phone, but she's got to have an iPhone. All right, Neil, how are you? Good to see you and all of that. So, ladies and gentlemen, that is, the Xbox strategy. Let's build on the Xbox strategy as though. So, there's been something questioned about, with the acquisition of Activision Blizzard, whether the games would be, some people going, you're not going to get Call of Duty day and date on Games Pass. They're not going to do that. Well, it seems that they, and I never understood that. Why wouldn't you do that? You've spent $78 billion on the company. Why wouldn't you do that? You're not restricted from doing that now by any of the competitions and markets authorities. As long as you make the games available on the other platforms, Call of Duty, then you're fine. Well, it seems that Phil Spencer... according to Idle Sloth here, Phil Spencer intends to bring all Call of Duty games to Xbox Game Pass and also bring Activision Blizzard games simultaneously to Xbox and PC. Our intent is the full portfolio of games from ZeniMax, Activision, Blizzard and Xbox Game Studios will be on Game Pass day one, he said. So that is their intention. Come hell or high water, the intention is your Activision Blizzard games, your Call of Duty will be day one. And that is where they add value to Game Pass, or at least extract some value from the $70 billion odd deal for Activision Blizzard and extract value from it by making sure that these epic titles, epic with a little e, are available on Game Pass. And that then gives real value to that Game Pass subscription. Spencer said there's development work to be done to get Game Pass launches going for Activision Blizzard games. So there is that a lag, and we have seen that. We're doing the back-end work to make them come to PC and console simultaneously. So I'm not sure whether what he's saying there is they're doing all the work so that they can go, right, these games now are available on PC and so the ones that are already available and on Game Pass straight away. So there's no lag between that. This is in GameFile news. That's basically the summary of it. So that's the plan. It makes sense. Their strategy makes sense. You're going to add real value, in my opinion, to Game Pass with these, with Call of Duty and stuff like that. That makes, that really makes it feel like a decent subscription when you're getting games like that on Game Pass. And, you get Overwatch. Imagine you got Overwatch 2 on Game Pass. You've got Call of Duty on Game Pass, World of Warcraft on Game Pass. I mean, dude, that would be crazy. There's just more confirmation about this bug. Josh Sawyer, I think he's from the Pentiment developer. Anyway, let me know what you think about that in the chat. Is it, are you relieved at that? Did you think that they weren't going to come to Xbox Game Pass Call of Duty day one, the next one? Let me know in the chat. I'd be interesting to know your thoughts on it and all of that. Right, the other thing I want to share with you. Oh, yeah, of course, let's just stay on the Xbox thing. Let's just actually build on that. Let's talk about Xbox cloud gaming, since we were talking about Diablo 4, and a reason why we might see Diablo 4 on xCloud. So this is from Stephen Totilo, and he reports for Axios, so they get the proper journos, they get the proper insight, they get the proper stories, all of that. This guy can be trusted. He gets a lot of sort of first-time stories and stuff like that. Anyway, Xbox Cloud Gaming now accounts for at least 10% of the total hours of Xbox games across all devices, Phil Spencer tells me. And it's growing into double digits. In recent years, Xbox has tried to find them by finding new players by streaming Xbox games over to cloud phones, smart TVs and tablets, de-emphasizing the console as a must-own device. Cloud adoption and expansion has been slow, but it's finally picking up. Spencer said, gaming via the cloud now accounts for a double-digit percentage of total hours of Xbox games played. That seems quite a lot. I'm surprised by that. I know it's only 10%, but, forget about us cloud game, because I know a lot of us are cloud gamers, watch this show and stuff like that. So we have a slightly skewed view of the popularity of cloud gaming and stuff like that. And forget about people who, do shows or commentate or like me or on Twitter or whatever and talk about gaming. Because again, that only represents a very small majority of gamers. The majority of gamers don't engage in chat about the gaming industry or console wars and all that. To be honest, they're just playing games. They're like my son and all his mates. They're aware of the gaming news and stuff like that, but they're too busy having a laugh playing games than arguing or getting down into the nitty gritty of the industry and stuff like that, or, being the first to know about news, gaming news and stuff like that. And that is representative, I would argue, of the majority of gamers. And that's the same with cloud gaming. So therefore, I'm sort of surprised that it's 10%. I remember we used to talk, in Stadia days, we say it's a 1%, 2% market. Cloud gaming is a 1%, 2% market. Well, again, I'm not talking about necessarily, they're talking about the hours played here. And that to me is slightly more significant because, there are a lot of gamers playing a lot of games, a lot of hours of games. My son, again, I have to quote my son again, plays hours. He was showing me this absolutely ridiculous thing he'd built in Minecraft. How he does it. I tell you, I used to play Minecraft a lot, but it's changed so much that creates, I forget what it creates now, but whatever. But It was massive contraption he built, massive. And it required so many resources to make the blocks that were needed to put in. They had to be special. So you had to make the resources, build the blocks. It was crazy. And he said it took him 6 hours just to build this massive contraption. And the world is massive that him and his sisters built. But anyway, so a lot of people play a lot of hours. That's my point. So 10% of that, of those hours are being played in the cloud. And then when you add to the fact that, to be honest, xCloud's not that, certainly not the best example of cloud gaming, as you know, as we know. I mean, it's okay, but you know, compared to something like GeForce Now Ultimate, it's night and day. But it's just interesting, and it's growing by the sounds of things, which is very, very promising. So there's an argument to make sure that your games, you know, especially the Activision Blizzard games, which are kind of, when it comes to cloud gaming, slightly out of, not slightly, it is out of Xbox's hands because they don't have the cloud gaming rights in the Activision Blizzard titles. But you can see how they'll put pressure or you know, come to an arrangement with Ubisoft to make sure that they are. But yeah, quite surprised at that. 10% of the number of play hours of Xbox games on xCloud. Interesting. Let's just catch up with what you... Internet of Games is saying that he said cloud more times than console in his podcast. Yeah, Sanchez MTS Gaming says, yes, Activision Blizzard games on Game Pass for the win. Phil said cloud more than console, but the first Activision Blizzard game on Game Pass, Diablo 4, is only... Yeah, that's the great irony. This is the thing, you know, this is the lag between... Interesting player use of words, Clive, there. No, but this is the lag because they don't have that control over those Activision Blizzard titles when it comes to cloud. That's what they've got to connect. They've got to come up with a deal with Ubisoft that allows them to do that, because it does seem to me a bit strange that is not, you know, that's not the case. I'm confident that Diablo 4 will come to cloud and may well be announced before it's released at the end of March. But I just think there is this sort of conversation ongoing. That's the only thing I could think why it's not, you know, automatically been announced. But there we go. And then there's the Cloud Direct controller. I can't wait. So I hope it's all true. Yeah, that'd be interesting. Again, hopefully, because one of the criticisms I've certainly made of xCloud since the demise of Stadia, is we've not really seen any progression in the tech. You know, they moved the servers to Xbox Series X blades, to kind of keep pace with the fact that Stadia delivered the games in 4K, 60 frames per second, etc. And, you know, clearly GeForce Now were moving in that way at the time when they first had their Ultimate at 3080 and now, of course, 4080. So, but really, since the demise of Stadia, we've not seen Xbox say, oh, we've improved the compression or we've improved the stream quality. Nothing. And what we have seen with Xbox Game Pass is some delays in playing the games, and that has a knock-on effect that those that play Xbox Game Pass games in the cloud. You know, this waiting, I never used to have to wait for Xbox Game Pass games. So when you play them on the cloud, it's like, what? Waiting? Nah, that's not what it's not. That's what cloud's not about. So they haven't by the sound thing, they haven't updated the servers. They haven't updated the number of servers, as far as we can tell, that is. I would imagine they would announce it if they had. We're expanding our servers, our xCloud servers. And we've not really seen anything for, 2.5 years? Maybe, coming on 3 years? But maybe the fact that now they're seeing, in terms of the number of hours played in cloud, it increasing and getting into double-digit percentage, 10% of all Xbox games hours played are being played in the cloud. Maybe they'll go, you know what, we need to start building out the infrastructure a bit more. It'll be interesting to see. Let me know your thoughts, as ever, in the comments down below. The Pac-Man games on GFN have an issue where the touch controllers don't work. Touch, oh dear. Raised it with GFN's customer service team, but they don't have a clue what I'm talking about. Oh, right. Okay. That's a shame, because that's the sort of game, Pac-Man, playing with the touch controllers while you're, hanging around waiting, you want to just have a quick 5-minute sesh. That's what she said. Touch controls are the thing. Exactly. Slowly priming. We really need to know if cloud games from Activision Blizzard are only coming to cloud via Ubisoft Plus, or are they also going on to Game Pass? Well, this is the thing they need. We know that they're definitely coming to Game Pass, but yeah, Xbox need to agree with Ubisoft some kind of arrangement so that their own games can be available in the cloud on Xbox, on xCloud, effectively. That's where the problem is. Could be 99%, double digit, yeah. No, it's 10% moving into not quite 9%, yeah. Do you think the Halo Master Chief Collection will come to GFN? I do, eventually. It may not be their priority, but yeah, why not? I seen a graph a while back from one of these analytics sites that cloud gaming growth is projected to be quite large by 2030, and it was compounding by 50% over a year until 2032. Yeah, I remember seeing graphs back in the day of Stadia. So it'd be interesting for me. Maybe I'll go and have a look sometime to see whether, because we're like 2 or 3, maybe 4 years now ahead of when those predictions were made. So now we've got some actual data that we can apply to see how accurate those predictions were at the time. The fact that people can't see Call of Duty coming to Game Pass baffles me, mate. So one of the main things Microsoft and Xbox wanted to grow is Game Pass each year. Yeah, and that exactly, Mr. Bain, and that is exactly why they spent, well, one of the chief reasons they spent $70-odd billion on Activision Blizzard. Dead Island 2 only dropped on console, Game Pass and cloud, but not for PC. That's interesting. There we are. According to Caseball, Epic Store have the exclusive PC rights. So there are some, yeah. So, but that's what the thing. Part of buying Activision Blizzard is so that you have control over those titles. And that's the slight irony that they got the deal done, but at the expense of having to give up the cloud gaming rights in the Activision Blizzard titles to appease the competition and market authorities around the world, which means they don't actually have that control over where and when the titles launch across their portfolio of platforms, which are PC, Xbox, and cloud. In an ideal world, what they wanted to be able to do is just go, there we are, it's across all platforms. When you acquire something, it's like Netflix. When they acquire something, they want all territories. Yeah, when we do a deal with Netflix, are, they're ideally what they want is to make the title available in all territories. Now, if it's an existing title that somebody else owns, that somebody else may well have sold the rights in different territories to other people. So they can't give Netflix an exclusive in that territory. They might be able to give them a non-exclusive, but they might have even sold the exclusive rights to somebody else in that territory. So that's why that's why Netflix, make their own stuff, because that way they have total control and they can put it across all the territories in the world without restriction. And that's what they want to grow their base. And that's why, the acquisition of content and IP generation, that's why Xbox bought Activision Blizzard. So they would have that control and put it across all their platforms, their portfolio of platforms. Unfortunately, the little snag in that is, in order to get the deal across the line, they had to concede the rights, the cloud gaming rights, to Ubisoft. Now, what that does mean, all that really means is they just do a deal with them, but maybe they haven't quite finessed that deal yet. But you would have thought they would, try and do a deal on it. Yeah, I think xCloud needs some more features like recording and streaming. Yeah, invite to games through links on your mobile. These are all great Stadia ideas, weren't they? Yeah. Ubisoft could add a channel into Game Pass like EA, and that would, bingo. That's what you need. Yeah, that would be the answer. They just need to, come up with some arrangement to do that. But that would be a nice, simple answer. Like the Amazon channels, work quite well. I subscribe to the British Film Institute channel, but rather than directly, I did it via Amazon. So it's within my Amazon Prime account. I can watch all these, classic films from that the BFI have got as I slowly go through my Akira Kurosawa movies. But yeah, interesting. Now, talking of extending, let's talk one more on Xbox. So during actually that whole FTC and the Activision Blizzard acquisition court cases and everything, of course, it was revealed in the FTC versus Microsoft case papers that there was going to be possibly a digital only Xbox Series. We know that PlayStation and Xbox like to do a sort of a mid-console window release of a slimline version or a repackaged version of their consoles. And one of those that was revealed, of course, in those papers was a digital-only Xbox Series X, rumored to look like that. This was published on last week. Yeah, end of last week. Microsoft is reportedly preparing to launch a new white digital-only version of its top-end Xbox Series X console, June to July this year. So this would not be necessarily an upgrade. It's just a white version of the Xbox. Apart from the fact that in my house, it'll get very dusty, and it means I'll have to keep dusting it. Can't see it on, it's harder to see the dust on the old black Xbox Series X. I do dust it, though. I do clean it. A white one would look kind of cool, wouldn't it? A white Xbox Series X. An adorable all-digital Xbox Series X refresh planned for a 2024 release first surfaced as part of the mammoth leak of official Microsoft documentation, as I said, in the court battle with the FTC. But Xbox boss Phil Spencer has said so much has changed since, though. A lot of those papers and a lot of those data that data in those submissions and documents were out of date when they were submitted to court because they were old documents. So yeah, a lot has changed. Noted leaker Exeter Swan has claimed that not only Microsoft's all-digital Xbox Series X plan still alive, the console is set to release sometime between the months of June, July. So maybe this white version, all-white version, is digital only. It's funny, my girlfriend bought me a DVD to watch. I will not discuss what's on the DVD, but anyway... and I said to her, a DVD, who the heck has a DVD? Like, it's the 21st century. How am I meant to watch this? Now, ironically enough, my sound system is actually a DVD player, although I don't have it connected to my TV other than through digital audio, because I only use it as a sound system, it has a DVD on it. But it's so old. I worked out, actually, it's 23 years old. It's a beautiful Sony surround sound, but it's still, the design of it is still on point. It looks amazing. It still works, and it still gives me absolutely cracking surround sound, especially now with, Netflix and stuff like that put out things in filmmaker mode and all this kind of stuff, and HDR and Dolby Atmos, all that. It really gives, it still works really, really well. But yeah, I was thinking, but it's got like SCART cables or the old kind of Y, R and yellow, red and yellow cables. And of course, my TV's just HDMI cables, so I can't connect it if I wanted to anyway. So anyway, cut long story short, I was thinking, okay, well, I'm going to watch this DVD. How am I going to watch it? And then it suddenly dawned on me, the Xbox Series X. And sure enough, we watched it on the Xbox Series X. So I did have a DVD. I didn't even realize I had a DVD. There it was. But anyway, so it looks like this Xbox is going to be digital only. Last year's leak pinpointed to all digital Xbox Series X, codenamed Brooklyn, with an entirely new cylindrical shape. This, with a front-facing USB-C. Nice. Now, if it's that, but white, that'd look quite cool. Improved Wi-Fi, refreshed controller, and decreased power draw. But, so that was in the leak last year, but Exeter One's report mentions none of these, suggesting it's far less wide-ranging revision. So probably just a white Xbox Series X without the physical media slot. Yeah. Anyway, so that's the rumor. We could see it maybe announced over the kind of, that old the gaming sort of festival, summer festival of gaming, the old E3 time in June, July. Maybe it'll get announced then. Be interesting to see. Right. Talking of consoles, so the big rumor is, and this would seem to be backed up by Nikkei reports on Nintendo. Nintendo is reportedly targeting a March 2025, so only 12 months, people, launch for the Switch 2. The Nikkei reports that Nintendo is waiting until 2025 to give developers more time and avoid stock shortages. If we're hoping to get your hands on Nintendo's highly anticipated Switch 2 console this year, then prepare to be disappointed by another rumor pointing to a 2025 release. According to a new report from the Nikkei, Nintendo is anticipated to release its successor to the Switch console as early as March. in line with the rumoured Q1 2025 release date reported by VGC and Eurogamer earlier this month. And they want to make sure that they have sufficient stock available to avoid the shortages that hit PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X. You know, chip shortages is clearly still an issue. Nintendo is prioritizing securing initial stock of successor machines and the lineup of popular software at the time of the release. So there we go. Switch fans, 2020. Right. Now, sadly, we're seeing a lot of layoffs in tech and especially gaming and supermassive games here. It's no secret the games industry is currently facing significant challenges, and unfortunately we aren't immune to this. After much deliberation with deep regret, we're therefore undertaking a reorganization. You know what that means? You know what's coming? Supermassive games. We're entering a period of consultation, basically redundancies. So Supermassive Games, who create some incredible games, they do those amazing cinematic looking games. Did some games, of course, for Switch. Not Switch, what am I saying? For Stadia. Are sadly making some redundancies. This was in the news, and this is them officially commenting on that. But yeah, it's tough out there. When companies, you know, spending big money, it's a sign of people taking big risks and stuff like that, isn't it? And unless your game flies and hits the targets that you need it to, you're going to struggle. Okay, we don't really see football news there. Right. Now, one of the things that is impacting... That's it. They did the port of Supermassive Little Nightmares 3, I seem to remember. And did a very good port of it as well. Maybe they did the port of... Was it 2? Maybe they're working... Yeah. We'll come back to what you lot have been saying a little bit later. What I just wanted to show you... Oh, yeah. Apart from... have you seen the official trailer for Borderlands? I won't play it here because I'll get a copyright strike. Now, we know there is a history of not very good games not making very good movie. Sorry, let's start that again. There is a history of movie adaptations of games not being very good. But I have to admit, this looked kind of cool. If you get a chance, you know, it's got a pretty stellar cast in it. They're not mucking about. I was pleasantly surprised by the quality of the trailer, if I'm to be honest. Now, that's no indication necessarily the film would be awesome, but it looked really good. So yeah, if you're into Borderlands and all of that, then definitely check it out. It's certainly got the spirit of Borderlands going on in there. Check out the trailer. Check it out on YouTube. It's available on YouTube in glorious, you know, widescreen. This is in Twitter mode format here. But yeah, it looks good. I highly recommend it. And I say they've impressive cast on it as well. So there we go. Now, talking of, as some of you know, I have a channel all about AI, and I came across this. So Google, here, Google, this is gaming related, so bear with me here. This may blow your mind a little bit. Google DeepMind just dropped Genie, an AI that can generate interactive video games. Yeah, generate. Now, we already know. So, for instance, I built a little game, a mini asteroids game, using AI for programming, for coding. Yeah, I'm not an experienced Python coder, but I used AI to come up with and create me a game, code me a game just using AI. And it coded a game in Python, whatever, and I ran it. You could see it on my AI channel. I take you through it step by step. And there we go. I've got a little asteroids cat asteroids game. You destroy the asteroids, blah, 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 rack up the points. Very simple, super simple game, right? This is not this. Okay, so we know AI can generate code. This is a huge deal. Genie is trained on 200,000 hours of unsupervised public internet gaming videos and can generate video games with a single prompt. So you may or may not have seen where we are with OpenAI with video, for example. Okay, so this video here, okay, generated from a simple text prompt. Right, if you've not seen it, compared to where we were like 3 weeks ago with AI video, this is leaps and bounds above anything. It's come on by miles. So this is text to video. Yeah, a woman walking in the streets of Tokyo, the neon lights reflecting on the puddles, blah blah blah. The edits are done by the AI. This is not somebody who's edited this video. It chose to go into a close-up on her, all of that. I cover it all off on my AI channel, right? Really cool. This is akin to this, but actually creates games. This is what's insane. So it can generate a video game from a single prompt or image. Now, again, before I go on to this, when they launched Stadia, or as they were launching Stadia, I remember at the GDC in 2019, they talked about the power of machine learning. Yeah, and they showed how they could apply machine learning to a game. So there's an existing game, yeah, and it had a certain art style. And they could say, okay, do it like it's been designed by Picasso. And interestingly, it's the same game. So the game was programmed and developed separately. Suddenly it had the look like of a Picasso in terms of its design, look and its style. Do it like it's made of marshmallow and whatever. And then the game would suddenly, it'd be like a platforming game or something like that, would suddenly look like it's made out of marshmallow. The thing is, you know, it just applied machine learning to apply new textures to it. But the game itself was still developed in the conventional way. What this does, despite not being trained on action or text annotations, the foundation model can determine who the main character is and enable a user to control that character in the generated world. So it's like you've told it to create a video of a character, yeah? But then it recognizes what that character is within the video and then allows you to play the game, control the character. So somebody just said, you know, do me a game or a character with platform, you know, that looks like, I don't know, a frog that's jumping on platforms. So it's like you're asking it to create a video, but then it recognizes there's a moving character in the video and then allows you to control that moving character. So basically builds you automatically just from a text, a simple prompt text, a platforming game. Despite not being trained on action or text annotations, the foundation model can determine who the main character is and enable a user to control the character in the generated world. It does this through its latent action model. Yeah. So there is an AI model that looks at the action, video tokenizer, so an AI model that creates the video, and the dynamics model. Now, at the moment, this is only at research level only and not publicly available. And it does come with some limitations currently that the games are being created run at 1 frame per second. Yeah. But let me just show you in terms of right. This is the progression of AI art from February 2022. Okay. That's what you'd get. You put in, show me a picture of a boy, you know, whatever, sweat on his face, blah, blah, blah. That's what you'd get in AI in 2022, February 2022. And this is what you got in version 5.1. I think that's meant to be 2023. That's how it's progressed. And even this is out of date because we're on version 6 of Midjourney. So creating an image in Midjourney, a photo real image went from that to that in like roughly in the space of a year. So, and again with AI video, it's been, you know, even quicker. Here's another comparison. Look, within the space of about a year, you went from this hideous stuff to like version 6 over here. You can see just behind my head. Incredible, the speed of progression. So yeah, look, it's 1 frame per second. It's only at research level, but given the speed at which AI is developing, as I say, in that video I showed you from OpenAI's Sora text to video, this is insane. These are baby steps. But imagine that. Google DeepMind also trained Genie on robotics videos as proof of concept for potential world model applications in robotics. Yeah, so somebody went here from text to movies, now to text to games. What a future ahead. Not going to lie, I don't think we're going to see actual interactive AI video game in 2024. No, we're not. But given the progression, the speed at which AI is moving and these kind of image generation models are moving, and then you factor in another layer of AI like the latent action model, it's pretty crazy, the potential. It certainly excites me. It is extraordinary. I just thought I'd share that with you as I'm into AI and stuff. Let's catch up on the chat. I remember Ubisoft put out a statement they need to get Ubisoft up to par to handle so many people on so many people on their servers before Call of Duty is brought over. Well, we've got, oh yeah, the games you own on the cloud via Ubisoft, like, yeah, Call of Duty. Yeah, what's a DVD? Exactly. Bought it from Japan. I even said to her, like, I think it's region specific. Do you remember that? Region specific DVDs. Anyway, wasn't a problem. I mean, I had to actually download the Blu-ray app on my Xbox Series X because I never anticipated having to play a Blu-ray on there, let alone a DVD. Anyway, yeah, she'd been better off buying you a DivX disc, yeah. Scalpers will still be the primary ones to get switched to when it launches, always the way, isn't it? Yeah, super massive games. I think they did port Little Nightmares 2, didn't they? Yes, great studio. Too many games. Exactly, maybe. Stadia had 1 and 2. Yeah. Borderlands Films has huge Guardians of the Galaxy vibes to it. Yeah, I mean, that's the sort of vibe they're going for. Kind of slightly irreverent, fun. Yeah. Catstroid. Like that. That's what I should have called it. Catstroid. Yeah, I called it Attack of the Space Cats. Yeah, I developed Starfield with a single prompt. Create a dull game full of loading screens. Yow! All right. Ouch. NVIDIA's latest drivers are getting brave with AI post-processing. These cards are waking up. Yeah, and they actually, NVIDIA have just announced some graphic cards specifically aimed at allowing mobile laptops and stuff to handle AI stuff a bit better. So not gaming GPUs, but AI GPUs. I definitely see AI, powering improving the game quality. That's going to be a big thing. That's going to be the thing that's now, isn't it? We already see it with RTX on and DLSS 3.0 and all that kind of stuff on PC. So you can see them factoring that in, having a little AI chip built into the console to, basically enhance that experience. Absolutely. I have indeed. Have I seen the Will Smith video replicating the AI of him eating pasta? Yes. Now, do you mean the one where the pasta eats Will Smith? Much better version, yeah. I have. Yeah, because that was the whole. Here we are. Yeah, as an example of where AI video was. To where we are now. Oh, he's actually eating pasta. That was him. That's hard to tell, but there's one where the pasta eats. Oh, here it is. Yeah. This is where the pasta eats Will Smith. That's a bit weird. Very strange. Anyway, there we go. Don't let it be said I don't bring weird, crazy stuff to the table on these. Final Fantasy 14 online beta available now. The Final Fantasy fans on Xbox. I think I'd lose track of which Final Fantasy I've played. So I get a bit. I'm not that up to in the Final Fantasy world, so I'm not familiar. I think I've played number 15. Bits of it. What did I play on Stadia? I must have. I want Clive to replicate that pasta video. Yeah, that'd be interesting. Freaky. But anyway, yes, look. Final Fantasy fans. Battle in PvP. Oh, so this is a sort of... not the whole story thing, but a kind of, PvP, multiplayer type thing. You can see how much I'm up to with Final Fantasy games. I know it's super popular, but I just played the one that Final Fantasy 15. It's the only one I've played. Windows 11 latest version has Super Res built into the operating system. Yeah, so I'm surprised. It has to be built into the CPU. Yeah. I think it'd definitely be next gen. Yeah, this I think what we'll see is enhanced cloud gaming abilities and AI, chips, or certainly, AI processing built into the chips to allow an enhanced gaming experience. Definitely, this is what I predict for the new generation of consoles when they arrive and all of that. There we go, ladies and gentlemen. That is the Monday Game Chat. With a lot of chat, didn't we? Thanks to you guys getting involved and bringing your chat game. Yeah, bringing your chat game. It is much appreciated. All of those, as I say, who watch the show live and engage in the chat. Plus, equally, all the people who watch afterwards and, add comments. Because the weird thing about this is this show, although it's live, it has a reasonable tail to it, as it were, in terms of the number of people who catch up on the podcast, as it were, which is great, and I really, really appreciate it. But in order for it to really be engaging, I need people to watch it live, like you guys, because that's what really makes it engaging and therefore makes it entertaining for people who catch up later in the week, and there are many that do, which is really, really great. So whether you watch it live or you catch it later, I really, really appreciate it. Don't forget to hit the likes, because I like it. Yeah. YouTube likes it. Yeah. And it helps people like you find content like this. And if you are new to my channel, then arigato gozaimasu. In fact, if you're new but always watch and you haven't done it yet, please hit that subscribe button, toggle that notification bell, and that way you'll know when I go live with this show every Monday night in the UK, 10 p.m. Monday Game Chat. And of course, look out for this week's GeForce Now news. Are we at the point where they're going to announce the March games? 27th, 28th. Maybe. Yes. Maybe, because it'd be the 1st of March, the GeForce Now news this week, won't it? I think. We're not a leap year, are we? Can't remember. Anyway, have a wonderful, wonderful gaming week. Check out the GeForce Now news later this week. Maybe we'll have an announcement of all the March games, which just makes me quake in my boots, because it means the video is going to be super long, or not super long, would take me a long time to do. Otherwise, I'll watch you the same time. No, I won't watch you. You'll watch me, same time, same place next week. Have a wonderful, wonderful week. Arigato gozaimasu. Janai!
Thanks for watching the Monday Game Chat with your host, Clive Illenden. Don't forget to hit the likes, subscribe, and consider becoming a member. Hit the join button today.